Hello all, happy morning, happy afternoon, happy evening. So in this session, let us discuss about one of the important areas of CMA intermediate examination, which is agricultural income. Right. So as far as agricultural income is concerned, it does not involve much of a big concepts as PGBP or capital gains as the case may be. But however, this cannot be negated from an examination point of view. Even though from a practical standpoint it does not have that much importance because it is quite settled now. So the law in relation to agricultural income is quite settled now, but from an examination point of view, that too for CMA intermediate examination, definitely one question can be expected from this area and one MCQ can be expected from this area. In the previous that is the old syllabus, generally question number பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு 3B அப்படின்ற அந்த ஒரு question number generally this will be there. But in the new scheme, since we had only one paper, even that had a question on agricultural income, and even the model papers probably should have, and also even the current examination, and a question from this area is expected in the examination, right? So as far as this chapter and discussion of this chapter is concerned, it is structured in such a way that first we'll discuss why and what is the meaning of agricultural income and questions. Then we'll go to the next topic. So basically there are three topics. Questions can be broadly divided only into these three categories. First, whether an income would constitute agricultural income or not. That is one type of question. Second type of question is, if there is both agricultural income and non-agricultural income, how should agriculture and non-agricultural income be segregated? That is the second area. And the third area is partial exemption method, partial integration method, to be very to stick to the book sense. It is known as partial integration method, this one. Yeah. So totally there are three areas and it does not involve much concepts. We just need to discuss, we'll solve the problems in that relation, right? So as far as agricultural income is concerned, agriculture income is exempt as per section 10(1) of the Income Tax Act. So நம்மளோட first classலயே நம்ம வந்து we have discussed that agricultural income cannot be taxed by the central government because the taxation rights of agricultural income is with the state governments, right? So this agricultural income, the central by constitution itself does not have any power for taxing the agricultural income. Even though in constitution the term agricultural income is not defined, they just give a reference to what has been defined in the Income Tax Act for the definition of agricultural income. Okay, so in the agriculture income the central government does not have the power. Okay, since it does not have the power, but it also did not want to lose its taxing right, so they just found a different method to increase the tax rates. அதுதான் வந்து partial exemption, partial integration method நம்ம பார்ப்போம். So let us come to the topic 1 of agricultural income, which is the meaning of agricultural income. Okay, so first, agricultural income will include any income from rent or revenue from an agricultural land. So இப்போ agricultural land இருக்கு அப்படின்னா அந்த land வந்து if it is not owned by you and you pay rent for that agricultural land, that rent which is derived from an agricultural land is known as an agricultural income. Okay, wow. Second, any income which is derived from such land by sale of produce from agricultural land. இப்போ agricultural landல விவசாய நிலத்துல we are cultivating something, right? And that cultivation is sold in the market. So whatever income you are getting from that sale of produce which is produced from the agricultural land, that is known as agricultural income. That is point number 2. Third one is any income which is derived from sale of processed produce. Processed produce அப்படின்னா என்னன்னா, see, just because something is grown in your land, in the agricultural land, that does not mean it could be sold in the same form. Okay, so for it to be sold we need to do some processes, initial processes. ஸோ அந்த ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறமா ஒரு ப்ரொடியூஸ் வரும் இல்லையா, அந்த ப்ரொடியூஸை வந்து நம்ம சேல் பண்ணுறோம். இதுக்கு ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் நம்ம இப்போ எடுத்துட்டோம்னா, டேக் த கேஸ் ஆஃப் பேடி. ஸோ பேடி வில் பி க்ரோன் And generally while harvesting, they will harvest the paddy grains along with the grass. கரெக்டா அந்த ஹஸ்கோட சேர்த்து ஹஸ்க் அதுக்கப்புறமா கீழே இருக்க அந்த கிராஸோட சேர்த்து they will just harvest. But when it is sold in the market, they will not sell it along with that grass. ஓகேவா அந்த பேடிக்கு கீழே இருக்க அந்த புல்லுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க அதை வந்து they will not include that and sell. So they should just what to say, they will beat and they'll get the rice grains separately, the paddy grains separately, and that paddy grains alone will be sold. At the point of harvest, when it is severed from the agricultural land, it will be severed along with the grass. அதுக்கப்புறமா they'll just take out the paddy grains alone and only the paddy grains will be sold in the market. இப்போ அந்த ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறம் ஸோ பேசிக்கலி என்னோட அக்ரிகல்ச்சரல் ப்ரொடியூஸ் என்ன பேடி அலாங் வித் தட் கிராஸ், பட் அதை வந்து அப்படியே செல் பண்ண முடியாதுன்றதுனால ஐ எம் ப்ராசஸிங் இட் டு கெட் தி பேடி கிரெயின் செப்பரேட்லி. அந்த ப்ராசஸ் இருக்கு பத்தியா, அதுக்கப்புறமா அந்த ப்ராசஸ்க்கு அப்புறமா நமக்கு என்ன கிடைக்கிறது, ப்ராசஸ் டு ப்ரொடியூஸ் பேசிக்கலி பேடி. அதை வந்து if I'm going to sell it in the market, whatever income I as a cultivator is going to get, that is known as agricultural income. Okay. So இதை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் there are many judgments. Even Supreme Court has ruled that for a process to produce to be an agricultural produce, it should satisfy all these conditions. So in the definition la enga kuduthirukku appdin pathina section 21A of Income Tax Act, all these things have been defined. First, so to render the produce raised by him fit to be taken to the market. Next, the produce must retain its original character. So it should not change its character. If assume ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் கொடுக்குறேன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, you have produced potato. So potato எடுத்துட்டு you are converting it into potato chips and you are selling it in the chips form. So should I treat that potato chips as an agricultural produce? It cannot be, because potato loses its original character when it is sold in the form of chips. Okay, so it must retain its original character in spite of process. Next, the process must be employed by the cultivator himself. So you should not outsource this process basically. So இப்போ வந்து இந்த பேடியை வந்து ஜென்ரலாக எப்பவுமே என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, ஆஃப்டர் ஹார்வெஸ்டிங் they'll just beat it on a stone in the old age method. In the new age method, they'll just put it in the machine and they'll get the paddy grains alone separately. That should be done by the cultivator himself or by his employees, which is true. But he cannot give it to the next person to process, because if he's going to give it to the next person to process, that means that could be sold by him without doing that process. Okay, wow. So whatever is necessary alone, so whatever process is necessary alone, only that process is to be carried out by the cultivator. In the point, so the produce is having no market value if offered in its original condition. Okay, so if it is going to be offered in its original condition, it should not have any market. Appo I should do a process. That process should be by the cultivator himself. After that process, the produce must retain its original character. So if all these things are done, and even a process to produce can be termed as a agricultural produce. Okay, sir, இப்போ வந்து process to produce இருக்கு, but அது agricultural produce இல்ல. So I am cultivating, I am also processing, but after that processing, it is losing its original character. What should be done? So அது வந்து we'll just see. So topic number 2 we'll discuss about it. So till that time, just wait. Next, any income which is derived from an agricultural land. So this is nothing. There's nothing great to do with. Next is income from let out of agricultural house property. What do you mean by agricultural house property? Agricultural house property அப்படின்னா என்ன? Generally இந்த farm house எல்லாம் கேள்விப்பட்டோம். So if a person is going to own agricultural land, if he is going to cultivate in that agricultural land, to take care of that, he will have a home very close to the agricultural land. ஸோ அப்போ தான் வந்து கரெக்டான டைமில் அந்த நீர் பாய்ச்ச முடியும். இஃப் தேர் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி எனி ரெயின், அந்த காவா வெட்டி விடுறது. ஸோ எவ்ரி திங் ஹி ஷுட் பி வெரி நெக்ஸ்ட் டு தி லேண்ட் இட் செல்ஃப். ஸோ பேசிக்கலி கிராப் இஸ் லைக் இஸ் சைல்ட் அண்ட் ஹி ஹேஸ் டு டேக் கேர் ஆஃப் ஹிஸ் சைல்ட். கரெக்டா? ஸோ இஃப் ஹி இஸ் கோயிங் டு டூ தட், ஹி ஷுட் ஹாவ் அ dwelling which is very close to the agricultural land. அப்போ அந்த ரெசிடென்ஷியல் dwelling, if he is going to earn any income, if that residential dwelling is actually let out and if it is used for the agricultural purpose, in such case what we'll do is any income which is received as rent, any income which is received as rent from a house property which is used for agricultural purpose, any income which is earned as rent because it is very close to the agricultural land and that residential dwelling is used similar to a farmhouse. Adala rent is also to be treated as agricultural income. So these are the 5 categories of agricultural income which is set as per 2(1)(a). இதில் ஒரே ஒரு பாயிண்ட் என்னன்னா, so in capital citizen we have discussed what do you mean by rural agricultural land, what do you mean by urban agricultural land and decide பண்ணி. இங்க அர்பன் அக்ரிகல்ச்சரல் லேண்டுக்கு பக்கத்துல இருக்க ரெசிடென்ஷியல் ஹவுஸ் ப்ராப்பர்ட்டில இருந்து வர ரெண்ட், it is not to be treated as agricultural income. That is one point we should remember. Any income which is derived from a house property, agricultural house property which is let out, and if it is in urban land, in such case it should not be treated as agricultural income as per 2(1)(a). Okay, so these are the few examples. Next we'll just go for some examples in relation to what do you mean by an agricultural income and what is not an agricultural income, right? So first is growing trade or commercial products. So it does not mean that whatever we eat alone is agricultural produce, like onion, brinjal, or what is it, lady's finger, all those things, even cotton, tea, coffee, all those things are also coming under agricultural produce, right? Income from growing flowers and creepers is also agricultural income. And sold in pots or agro income provided basic operations are performed. So இப்போ இதுல இருந்து questions generally எப்படி கேக்குறாங்க அப்படின்னா, they'll just give you list of items and they'll ask you to classify whether this is agricultural income or not. Okay, so we'll just see type of question. So in the list we should have this list, remember. Next is any remuneration and interest which is paid to a partner. So generally in the case of PGBP itself we have discussed, any partnership firm is not separate from its partners. Partners are collectively known as firm. It does not have a separate legal entity. It does not have a separate legal identification, at least as per income tax. Okay, so accounting it has a separate legal entity concept, but income tax only after initial days நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா firm was not even treated as a person. அதுக்கு அப்புறமா தான் சப்சிக்வெண்டா firm வந்து பர்சனா ட்ரீட் பண்ணிட்டு பார்ட்னர்ஸோட ஹேண்ட்ஸ்ல ப்ராஃபிட்ஸை டாக்ஸ் பண்ண எக்ஸாம் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க. ஷேர் ஆஃப் ப்ராஃபிட்ஸை பார்ட்னர்ஸோட ஹேண்ட்ஸ்ல எக்ஸாம் பண்ணிட்டு இவங்களோட ஹேண்ட்ஸ்ல டாக்ஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க, ரைட்? ஸோ in that case, so simply if at all a person is going to receive a remuneration, either salary, commission, which is received by a partner from a firm which is engaged in agricultural operation, is an agricultural income. ஆனா இதே வந்து ஒரு எம்ப்ளாயிக்கு it is not an agricultural income. அதே மாதிரி if it is a company, dividend is not an agricultural income. அதை நம்ம அப்படியே இங்க பார்த்துடலாம். Salary which is received from an employee, it is not an agricultural income because employee is separate, the person who is carrying on the agricultural activities is separate. Same. Dividend from a company engaged in agricultural operation is an non-agricultural income. This is also because company is a separate person and the person who is going to receive the dividend is a separate person. Okay, wow. Next, interest on capital received by a partner of a firm engaged in agricultural operation is an agricultural income. So மேல சொன்னது continuation தான், remuneration, interest, both the things, right? Any income which is arising by sale of trees grown on denuded parts of the forest after replanting and carrying on subsequent operations. So I should plant it and I should also carry on the subsequent operations. So generally operations can be broadly split into two: basic operations, subsequent operations. So if basic operations, for any income to be agricultural income, he should carry on the basic operations. If he's going to carry on the basic operations, generally and the tilting of the land, sowing of the seeds, அதெல்லாம் வந்து basic operations. அதுக்கு அப்புறமா வந்து அந்த கலப்புடுங்கிறதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க பாருங்க. So that removal of weeds and then fencing and then pouring insecticides, pesticides, taking care of the agricultural produce, all those things are subsequent operations. So if both basic operation and subsequent operation, if both of them are carried on by a same person, the produce is to be known as agricultural produce. But if basic operation is not carried on by that person and he's only carrying on the subsequent operation, அப்படின்னா So that income which he is earning from the subsequent operation is not to be treated as agricultural income because he is not carried on the basic operation. So basic plus subsequent is equal to agricultural income. Basic separate is equal to agricultural income. Subsequent separate is equal to non-agricultural income. Okay, ba? Next, any compensation which is received from an insurance company for damage of crops, it is to be treated as agricultural income. Even though it is not sold, it is to be treated as agricultural income. Next, any fee which is derived from land used for grazing of cattle, which is being used for agricultural income. So if on the cattle if that cattle is used for agricultural operation, if it is used for agricultural operation, and if the person who is letting us land to be grazed by the cattle, that is to be treated as agricultural income. Simple சொல்லணும்னா இப்போ மாடு மேயறதுக்கு ஒரு இடம் ஃபுல்லா இருக்கு, அது ஃபுல்லா புல்லு தோட்டமா இருக்கு, மாடை போய் மேய விடுறாங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோ. இப்போ அந்த மாடு வந்து இஃப் இட் இஸ் யூஸ்டு ஃபார் அக்ரிகல்ச்சரல் பர்பசஸ் அப்படின்னா, ஸோ அந்த மேயறதுக்கு ஒரு லேண்ட் வச்சிருக்காங்களா ஒருத்தன், அந்த லேண்ட்ல இந்த மாடை மேய விடுறதுக்கு அந்த லேண்ட் ஓனர் ஒரு காசு வாங்குவாங்கல்ல, அந்த காசு இட் இஸ் டு பி ட்ரீட்டட் அஸ் அக்ரிகல்ச்சரல் இன்கம் ப்ரொவைடட் அதுல மேயிற மாடு இட் இஸ் யூஸ்டு ஃபார் அக்ரிகல்ச்சரல் ஆப்ரேஷன். அப்படின்னா மட்டும்தான் இட் இஸ் டு பி ட்ரீட்டட் அஸ் agricultural income. If not, it is not to be treated as agricultural income. Next, any income which is derived from saplings or seedlings grown in a nursery. ஸோ நம்ம இந்த கல்யாணத்துக்குலாம் போனால் வந்து அழகாக ஒரு பேக்ல வந்து ஒரு செடி மாதிரி போட்டு கொடுப்பாங்க, கரெக்டா? ஸோ அதை வந்து தோஸ் ஆர் சீட்லிங்ஸ் விச் இஸ் க்ரோன் இன் அ நர்சரி. அது ஒரு ஸ்பெசிஃபைட் கண்டிஷன்ஸ்ல தே வில் க்ரோ இட் அண்ட் தென் தே வில் செல் இட். ஸோ த பர்சன் ஹூ இஸ் கோயிங் டு க்ரோ அண்ட் செல் இட் இன் பேக்கெட்ஸ், that the income which is earned by that person is also an agricultural income. Okay, now let us come to non-agricultural income. Any income from, and the uppalamnu solli solluvaanga Tamil, any income which is from salt produced by flooding the land with sea water is a non-agricultural income. Next, income from fisheries, poultry farming, dairy farming, butter and cheese making, all these things are non-agricultural. So anything which is in relation to animals is a non-agricultural income. Breeding and rearing of livestock is a non-agricultural income. Next, interest received by money lender in the form of agricultural produce. So he's a separate person and he is not cultivating. He is neither carrying basic operation nor the subsequent operation. Obviously, it is non-agricultural income. Profit on sale of standing crops after harvest, where such crops were acquired through purchase is a non-agricultural income. So basically, if I'm just going to purchase the crops and I'm just going to sever it and sell it, that is to be treated as non-agricultural income because I have neither performed basic operation nor performed subsequent operation. Right? Royalty income from mines is a non-agricultural income. Next, any remuneration to a director or a MD from a company which is engaged in business, agricultural business, we have already seen. So he is a separate person from that company, hence it is a non-agricultural income. Income earned by a cultivator from conversion of sugarcane to jaggery is non-agricultural income to the extent of such conversion only. Right? This is because sugarcane itself is marketable. In the process la pathana, the produce is having no market value for sale in its original condition. Sugarcane has its value. So sugarcane produce panni adukapparama jaggery produce pannum. Sugarcane can be sold separately. Correct? So adanal without further processing itself, if it can be sold, that produce is to be treated as non-agricultural produce. Right? So next, interest on arrears of rent in respect of agricultural land. It is not in relation to agriculture, hence it is non-agricultural income. Any income which is from a land situated outside India. This is one important point. So agricultural income from India alone is exempt, and agricultural income which is derived by a person outside India is always a non-agricultural income, and there is no exemption for it. நம்ம இந்த கொஸ்டின்லயும் வரும், அதே மாதிரி ரெசிடென்ஷியல் ஸ்டேட்டஸ் கொஸ்டின்லயும் இதை நம்ம அடிக்கடி பார்ப்போம். So income from a land which is situated in Singapore, agricultural income from Singapore, all those things are non-agricultural income and it is to be taxed. Right? Next, annuity received by a person in consideration of transfer of agricultural land. So already we have seen agricultural income which is derived from agricultural land alone is agricultural income. But income which is derived from sale of agricultural land is a non-agricultural income. So urban agricultural land, even it is taxable today. Rural agricultural land மட்டும் தான் capital gains லியுமே நம்ம exempt, capital asset ஓட definitionல it will be excluded, but urban agricultural land is always taxable. Right? Next, income on supply of water for agricultural produce is a non-agricultural income. Right. Next is income from sale of trees and grasses which is grown spontaneously without any human efforts is a non-agricultural income. So இதில் வந்து basic either the basic operation, subsequent operation ரெண்டுமே it is not carried on by the assessee, that is the cultivator. If both basic operation and subsequent operation, if it is not carried on by the cultivator, it is to be treated as non-agricultural income. Simple. Right. Next, we will discuss certain questions on agricultural and non-agricultural income. So this question is from the book, and the other two questions are from the examination questions. Right. So A is employed in an agricultural farming and interested with tilling of the land. His remuneration being 50% of the net profits earned by the farm. So இங்க பார்த்தோம்னா A is employed அப்படின்னு கொடுத்திருக்கு. So any income which is derived by an employee, it is to be treated as non-agricultural income. Employee of the concern shall not be treated as agricultural income. Okay, wow. Next, C receives dividend from a company. So if he is going to receive any dividend from a company, obviously it is a non-agricultural income. It cannot be treated as agricultural income. Sorry, yeah, it cannot be treated as agricultural income. Next, D of Kolkata earns an income of 12,000 from an agricultural land situated in Bangladesh. Any income which is from a land outside India, it is to be treated as other than agricultural income. It is not an agricultural income. Next, F receives rupees 600 on account of interest on loan on the mortgage of land which is used for agricultural purposes. So since interest on loan is not carrying on either the basic operation or the subsequent operation, it is to be treated as not an agricultural income. It is not an agricultural income. Okay, well, interest on loan. Next, G earns an income of rupees 1200 from lease of land for grazing of cattle required for agricultural operations. So if it is the cattle are used for agricultural operations, it is to be treated as agricultural income. Agricultural income is exempt. Next, H receives rupees 400 on account of interest on arrears of rent in respect of land used for. So rent for an agricultural land is an agricultural income, but interest on arrears of rent, it is a non-agricultural income. We've already seen that. Income from sale of replanted trees where the denuded parts are replanted and subsequent operation is carried out. So basically, I'm carrying on basic and subsequent operation. If I'm carrying on both the basic and subsequent operation, it is an agricultural income. Okay. Next, income from sale of trees which are of spontaneous growth. So I am not carrying on any basic or subsequent operation, right? Just a minute. Income from sale of trees of forest which are of spontaneous growth and in relation to which forestry operations alone are performed. There is some error in it. Yeah. So this is actually a non-agricultural income. Since it is without any human intervention, it is to be treated as non-agricultural income. Just there was a numbering error. It does not involve any human effort. Basically, the basic and the subsequent operations, nothing is carried on by the assessee. Hence, it is to be treated as other than agricultural income. Income from sale of tea leaf from tea garden. This is obviously agricultural income, sale of agricultural produce. It is sale of agricultural produce, hence it is agricultural income. Sale of jute produced in a land situated in Bangladesh. Since it is in Bangladesh, it is to be treated as other than agricultural income. Next, income from poultry farming. Any farming in relation to animals, it is other than agricultural income. Income from poultry farming is non-agricultural income. Income from growing flowers in the garden. So as far as income from growing flowers in a garden, it is to be treated as agricultural income. Since it is derived from a land, it is an agricultural produce, right? Next, income from sale of tobacco leaves after being dried, making it fit for sale. So before it is dried, it is not fit for sale. Only after it being dried, it can sell it. As per the tobacco leaves are concerned. Hence, in that case, it is to be treated as agricultural income. It is to be treated as agricultural income. Right? Income from fisheries or poultry or dairy, none of it is from a land, obviously, and it is not in relation to agriculture. So, hence, it is to be treated as other than agricultural produce, not considered as agricultural income. Next, income of rupees 50,000 from agricultural land which is situated in Bangladesh. It is no other than agricultural income. We have seen this already. Income of 25,000 from for land used as stone quarries. It is also other than agricultural income. So this question was asked in December 22 exam. The first question is done. We'll go to question number 2. So this question was tested in CMA Intermediate in December 22 examinations for 8 marks. So basically 8 lines. We should say whether it is agricultural income or not. Okay. So first one is salary of plantation worker from Duncan company engaged in rubber plantation. Any salary, it is to be treated as other than agricultural income. It is not an agricultural income. Right. Royalty income from Orissa Coal Mines Limited. Again, it is not an agricultural income. Any income which is from a mine, it is not to be treated as agricultural income. Interest on loan given to Ram poultry farming. First of all, poultry farming itself is not agricultural income. Interest which is given, it is also other than agricultural income. Right. Next, rent received for use of land for grazing cattle by God Dairy Limited. Right. So, if the cattle it is used for agricultural purposes, it is to be treated as agricultural income. If not, it is to be treated as other than agricultural income. Here, the question it says is God Dairy Limited. So, we might take a stand that it might be for other than agricultural produce also. But in the examination, they have taken a view that it is for agricultural income, provided it is used for the purpose of the cattle are used for the purpose of agricultural income. That line can be added for a better presentation. Right? Income from saplings and seedlings grown by Soundarya Nursery. We have already discussed this. It is an agricultural income. Any income from nursery, it is agricultural income. Right? So next is rent from farmers in midst of agricultural land received by Banerjee. So it is a farmhouse which is in midst of agricultural land. We have discussed this. Rent from an agricultural house property. It is to be treated as agricultural income provided it is in the rural part. Right? It is agricultural income. Next point. Compensation from insurance company for damage caused to standing crops due to cyclone received by Aptitude. This one is also already discussed. It is in lieu of agricultural income. Hence, it is exempt. Next, profit on sale of crops after harvest where standing crops were purchased by Agro Farms Private Limited. So, purchase of standing crops and profit on sale of crops, so cut off from plants is not an agricultural income. So, it is not agricultural produce per se. Right. So, in that case, obviously, from that case, it is not to be treated as agricultural income. So, sale of standing crops without harvest. Without harvest, if it is purchased by a person, that is known as standing crops. So, what will happen is purchase of standing crops basically is not agricultural produced per se because I have not earned anything. So, first, that one is not agricultural produce. After that, if that is being cut and sold, the primary and second, the basic operation, not the subsequent operation, is performed by the purchaser. Hence, the person who is purchasing it is also not going to get the exemption under 10(1) since it is other than agricultural income. Okay. So this point number 8 is an interesting point. Right? Other than that, that is done. So part 1 of our discussion is done. We just have part 2 and part 3 of agricultural income. So as far as part 2 and part 3 is concerned, part 2 will discuss about the concept of an income which is partly agricultural and partly non-agricultural. Right. So first we'll complete rule 7. So as far as rule 7 is concerned, we have already discussed here. We have seen. So if it must retain its original character in spite of the process. What will happen if it loses its original character in the process? Or the produce should not have a market value for sale in its original condition. If it is going to have a market value, if the produce is going to have a market value in its original condition, but I am processing it further. For example, see, paddy has a market value. Paddy has a market value. Obviously, it can be sold in the market. But the cultivator is converting the paddy into rice and then he's selling it. He sells it. So what will happen? So cultivator has cultivated paddy and from that he is converting it into rice and then he is selling it. But paddy itself has a market value. Paddy is nothing but it is known as நெல்லுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, நெல்லுன்றது தான் paddy, ரைஸ்ன்றது அரிசி. ஸோ பேடியில் மேலே இருக்கிற அந்த ஹஸ்க் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, தமிழில் சொல்லணும்னா உமி அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ தே ஹாவ் டு ரிமூவ் இட். After it being removed, it will be that hard coating. If it is removed, what we get is rice. Okay, well, so paddy rice maati he is selling it. So till the paddy is produced, that is a agricultural income. So till the paddy is produced, that paddy is obviously an agricultural produce, but rice is not an agricultural produce. It is not an agricultural income. It is other than agriculture. It is business income. So in the situation எப்படி டீல் பண்றது அப்படின்றது தான் is what is discussed in rule number 7. So what rule 7 says is, so where market value of any agricultural produce which is utilized as raw material in such business is to be treated as income for agricultural business and expenditure for non-agricultural business. Simply put, in the case he is having two incomes. One is from agricultural produce or agricultural income, which is paddy. Okay, well, next is first one is agricultural income, which is from agricultural produce, paddy. Next one is business income, which is conversion of paddy into rice and sale of rice. Correct. So inga he is having two incomes. One is agricultural income and the other one is non-agricultural income. Okay, so generally when a person is going to have both agricultural income and non-agricultural income, you should prepare two separate P&Ls, one specifically for agricultural income and the other one specifically for non-agricultural income, which can be business income or income from other sources, whatever, based on the charging section which I have already discussed. Right. So if the agricultural income income enna அப்படினு பார்த்தேனா, the market value of paddy which is used for further process is the agricultural income. And this is exempt. Okay, wow. So if in the business income ku pathana, what is his income? Income வந்து sale value of rice. இவனுக்கு expenses என்னன்னு பார்த்தனா, what are his expenses? One, it is the market value of paddy which is used for agriculture. This is his first expense. So மேலே என்ன amount போட்டோமோ அந்த amount is actually exempt for him. That is exempt for him as income in agricultural income that can be claimed as an expenditure by him because அதனுடைய value அதுதானே convert பண்றான். So that is first one. Second one is conversion cost. So both of this can be claimed as an expense by him. All the other expenses, business expenses, 37, all those things will come into play. Okay, so this is what is discussed in rule number 7. Right. It is for general cases. However, there are specific cases which they have given that this part is to be treated as agricultural income and the other part is to be treated as non-agricultural income, which is specified in rule 7A, rule 7B and rule 8. மொத்தம் 3 industry they have covered. So my assessee is engaged in the business of growing and manufacturing of tea, growing and manufacturing of rubber, growing and manufacturing of coffee. ஸோ இந்த 3 இண்டஸ்ட்ரிக்குமே இது வந்து ஒரு ப்ரிசம்டிவ் பேசிஸ் மாதிரின்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன். ஸோ வாட் எவர் இன்கம் இஸ் deriving 60% I'll deem it to be agricultural income, 65% I will deem it to be agricultural income, 75% I'll deem it to be agricultural income. அந்த மாதிரி the assessee does not have an option to choose between Rule 7 or Rule 7A, 7B, and 8. If he's going to fall under Rule 7A, 7B, or 8, that is basically if he's in the business of manufacturing of rubber, coffee, or tea, he should compulsorily use the rates which is specified above. இந்த இதில் கொடுத்துருக்க ரேட்ஸ் தான், இந்த பர்சன்டேஜஸ் தான் அவன் யூஸ் பண்ணணும். அப்படி வந்து if he is not into these 3 businesses, one best example is paddy and rice. So if he is not into these 3 businesses, you should go for Rule 7, which we have discussed here. This one. In the example, we have to take. இதில் நம்ம என்ன மெத்தட் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணமோ that is to be taken. Okay, va? So now we'll go to the specific cases. First one is if he is engaged in the business of manufacture of tea. So as far as tea manufacturing is concerned, you should already know that they will pluck the leaves, they will dry it, they will powder it, and then they will sell it. ஸோ டீ வந்து க்ரீன் லீவ்ஸாக தான் பறிப்பாங்க, பறித்து அதுக்கப்புறமா அதை வந்து ட்ரை பண்ணி அதுக்கப்புறமா அதை பவுடர் பண்ணி கிரேட் பண்ணி ஒன்லி தென் இட் வில் பி சோல்ட். ஸோ டீ கேனாட் பி சோல்ட் ஆஸ் லீவ்ஸ் ஆப்வியஸ்லி, ரைட்? ஸோ இப்போ இந்த டீ வந்து இஃப் இஸ் கோயிங் டு மேனுஃபேக்சர் டீ அண்ட் இஃப் இஸ் கோயிங் டு செல் இட், 60% ஆஃப் இட்ஸ் இன்கம் இஸ் டு பி ட்ரீட்டட் அஸ் அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் இன்கம். ஸோ இப்போ நான் 100 rupeesக்கு விற்கிறேன் அப்படின்னா 60% agricultural income, take it out, exempt. 40% alone is non-agricultural income, and the 40% of that is 40 rupees, and the 40 rupees against whatever expense I'm incurring, I can claim it as an expenditure. Okay, same is the case with rubber. So 65% of my final sales is to be treated as agricultural income, and 35% it is to be treated as other than agricultural income. Coffee la vandu coffee motto it has 2 cases. First one where coffee is grown and cured alone. Next is coffee grown, cured, and it is also roasted, grounded by the seller. Okay, so there are 2 cases. First one vandu it is coffee is grown and cured alone. Second case la vandu it is also roasted and grounded by the seller. So roasted and cured alone அப்படின்னா என்னன்னா, so basically coffee வந்து coffee bean எடுத்துட்டு they will just heat it at a certain temperature, they will take out one layer, so that is known as curing. Cure பண்ணி that could be sold, and the coffee bean அப்படியே சொல்லி we can sell it. That is just known as growing and curing. பட் அதுக்கப்புறமா வந்து for it to be powder பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி they'll just roast it to a certain level. ஸோ நீங்கள் இதில் காஃபி பவுடர் பேக்கெட்ஸ்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா டார்க் ரோஸ்டட், லைட் ரோஸ்டட், மீடியம் ரோஸ்டட்லாம் இருக்கும். ஸோ அது வந்து ரோஸ்டிங்கோடைய லெவல்ஸ். ஸோ இந்த லெவலுக்கு ரோஸ்ட் பண்ணால் இவ்வளோ டார்க்னஸ் வரும், நல்ல டீப்பாக ரோஸ்ட் பண்ணால் நல்ல டார்க்னஸ் வரும். ஸோ தட் இஸ் நோன் அஸ் ரோஸ்டிங். அதுக்கப்புறமா தேர் ஆர் ஃபர்தர் ப்ராசஸஸ், அண்ட் அதுக்கப்புறமா தே மைட் மிக்ஸ் சாக்கரி. ஸோ சாக்கரி ஃபார் தட் கலர் அண்ட் ஃப்ளேவர் தில் பி மிக்சிங் இட். ஸோ they're just going to do all those processes அப்படின்னா it will come under second situation, or else it will go to the first situation. So if coffee is just grown and cured by the seller, what will happen is 75% of the income is to be treated as agricultural income, because no majority value addition is being made here. They're just growing and selling it as a coffee bean. Just அதுக்கப்புறமா 25% is to be treated as other than agricultural income, right? So 75-25. If not, if it is also roasted, grounded, and it is sold and powdered, அப்படின்னா வந்து 60% it is to be treated as agriculture and 40% it is to be treated as other than agriculture. சிம்பிளா இப்படி வச்சுக்கோங்க. டீ பவுடர்னா 60-40, டீ பவுடர் அப்படின்னா 60-40, growing and manufacturing of tea. டீ பவுடர் 60-40. அதே தான் காஃபி பவுடர், காஃபி பீன் இல்லை, காஃபி பவுடர். if they have to give coffee powder, definitely they should roast it, they should mix it with chicory, right? So coffee powder அப்படின்னா 60-40. ஸோ டீ பவுடர், காஃபி பவுடர் ரெண்டுமே 60-40, ரைட்? அதுக்கப்புறமா வந்து இஃப் ஜஸ்ட் காஃபி பீன் இஸ் சோல்டுனா 75-25. அதர் கேஸில் மட்டும் 65-35. ரப்பரில் மட்டும் இட் 65-35. ரப்பர் அலோன் யூ ஜஸ்ட் ரிமெம்பர் டீ காஃபி பவுடரு 60-40, ரைட்? காஃபி பீனு 75-25. தட் இஸ் காஃபி க்ரோன் அண்ட் கியூர், தட் இஸ் 75-25. அண்ட் இஃப் இட் இஸ் இன் தி பிஸ்னஸ் ஆஃப் ரப்பர் 65-35. Okay, so this is the percentages, and this will not be given in the examination. You should remember this and write this. So this table is to be remembered, right? So next let us go to the question. So X Limited grows, we'll just discuss 2 questions in this area. So X Limited grows sugarcane to manufacture sugar. During the previous year 22-23, these are the details. Cost of cultivation of sugarcane 10 lakhs. Sugarcane sold in the market 3 lakhs for 1000 tons. sugarcane used for manufacturing is 4,000. So basically this 1,000 plus this 4,000 is going to give me this 5,000. Okay. Next, cost of conversion 5 rupees and sugar produced and sold in the market is 25 lakhs. So idhila pathana, is it covered under the specific cases, either tea, rubber, coffee, or basically these three, tea or rubber or coffee? Idhil moonume cover avula. If it is not covered by these three, we should go for the rule number 7. So rule number 7 in so whatever agricultural produce is used for further process, the market value is to be deemed as agricultural income. The market value of the raw material is to be treated as agricultural income, and that market value can be claimed as an expenditure in the business income. Right? So basically இங்க ரெண்டு இருக்கு. இது வந்து மேனுஃபேக்சரிங்ன்றது business income, agricultureன்றது other than business income. ஓகேவா? So first one என்ன, sale of sugar cane in the market. Sugar cane without doubts it is agricultural produce. Correct? So sale of sugar cane, it is an agricultural income. Next, sugar cane used for manufacturing of sugar. What is that? 4,000 tons. Okay. So இப்போ 1,000 டன்னுக்கு 3 lakhsனா அப்போ 4,000 டன்னுடைய வேல்யூ எவ்வளோ? 12 lakhs. கரெக்டா? So இந்த 12 lakhs வந்து it is to be treated as sale of agricultural produce. இந்த 4,000 tons of sugar cane which is used for further produce, அதனுடைய market value is to be treated as agricultural sale. The same 12 lakhs should be claimed as an expenditure in business income. Okay. So in the 12 lakhs. Okay. Next, what is there? Cost of next is sugar cane sold in the market. So sugar sold in the market, not sugar cane sold in the market. Sugar sold in the market for 25 lakhs. So that is my revenue. So what is my total revenue now? 25 lakhs and 15 lakhs. Right. Next is cost of conversion, which is 5 lakhs. And that 5 lakhs is obviously for business purposes alone. So that can also be claimed as an expenditure. Right. So the entire cost of cultivation, here the cost of cultivation they have given as 10 lakhs. So this is not going to have a much impact. So this is 10 lakhs. Next, what is the total expenditure? 17 lakhs and 10 lakhs. So my income is 8 lakhs and 5 lakhs, and this 5 lakhs is exempt, and this 8 lakhs is to be taxed. Okay. So how should I tax it? That's the next discussion. Right. So இதே மாதிரி one question was tested in December 21 examination for 3 marks. இதே தான், just numbers மட்டும் மாத்திருந்தாங்க. Right. Same case, cost of cultivation of sugarcane 8,000 tons, 140 lakhs. Next, sugarcane sold in market 2,000 tons for 40 lakhs. So first, that is sale of agricultural produce. Next, cost sugarcane used for sugar manufacturing 6,000 tons. So 6,000 into 40 divided by 2,000, pota vara amount, it is to be used as notional sale. Same case. And the 120, it is to be claimed as an expenditure. Okay, wow. Next, sugar sold and produced and sold in the market 400. So what is my total revenue? 400 and 165. What is my cost of conversion, which is said here? 100 lakhs. I should take that 100 lakhs as an expenditure. That is my cost. What is my cost of cultivation, which is said here? First line 140 lakhs. That 140 lakhs I should claim it as an expenditure. Right. So my total expenditure is 220 and 140, and my income is 180 and 25. Easy question, 3 mark. Okay. So these kinds of questions can be expected. Next வந்து இது வந்து general situation மேல பார்த்தது. இப்போ we'll go for specific situation. இந்த rule 7A rule இந்த rule பார்த்தோம். Rule 7A, rule 7B and rule 8. So இது வந்து specific situation. So அதை எப்படி deal பண்றதுன்றதை we'll just see here. Right. So Mr. Tony has rubber estates in rubber, tea and coffee. He derives the following income from them. He has also a nursery where he grows plants and sells it. For the previous year ending 31/3/23, just a minute, sorry. Yeah. So for the previous year ending 31/3/23, he furnishes the following particulars of his sources of income from estates and sale of plants. Compute the taxable income. First one is manufacturing of rubber. He has earned 5 lakhs. Coffee grown and cured alone. It is not roasted and sold. So 75/25 in the range round. 75/25. I should go for this. Right. So next, manufacturing of tea. First one 60/40. Manufacturing of rubber 65/35. Next, sale of plants from nursery. We have already seen that it is an agricultural income. It is totally agricultural income. So sale of plants from nursery, it is totally agricultural income. Next, from manufacturing of rubber, he has earned 5 lakhs. So manufacturing of rubber 5 lakhs, 65% it is to be treated as agricultural income, 35% it is to be treated as business income. Next, coffee grown and cured, it is not roasted, so 75% I should deem it as agricultural income, and 25% I should deem it as other than agricultural income. Next one is manufacturing of tea. As far as manufacturing of tea is concerned, 60%, 40%, we've already seen that. So 60% of 7 lakhs is to be treated as agri income. Other than 60 lakhs, 40% is to be treated as business income. So totally 11 lakh 7,500 is my agricultural income. It is exempt. So 542 is my taxable income. This is one question. So next, இதே மாதிரி similar our question was tested in June 19 for 5 marks. First one is income from coffee grown and cured in Coorg of Karnataka. So coffee grown and cured மட்டும்தான், it is not roasted. So அதனால it is 75-25. 75% is to be treated as agricultural income. Other 25% is to be treated as non-agricultural income. So 2,25,000 is agricultural and other is other than agriculture. Income from tea grown and manufactured. Tea க்கு வந்து எவ்வளோ 60-40. So 60% it is to be treated as agricultural income, 40% it is to be treated as other than agricultural income. Income from rubber estates in Kerala by sale of field latex obtained from rubber plants grown there. So it is 65-35, 2,60,000 and 1,40,000. Next, income from nursery by name Soundarya Nursery in Chennai. So income from nursery fully it is agricultural income, and it does not have a non-agricultural income part. Rent from a dwelling house in agricultural land, right? So it is used for agricultural purpose. It is used for copy estate labor, so it is used for agricultural purpose. Since it is used for agricultural purpose, it is also to be treated as agricultural income. So total is 9,25,000 it is to be treated as agricultural income, and 3,15,000 it is to be treated as other than agricultural income. So this is one part. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So next is partial integration method. So now first பார்க்கறச்சவே சொல்லியிருந்தேன், the government is using a different method to compute tax for agricultural income, right? So even though it is exempt, what they are trying is they are just trying to include this in income and exclude out of income, just to take the person to the higher slab rates. So even though this income is exempt for taxation, but what the method which is prescribed by them, it is used for taxing the agricultural income in a different way. Even though they claim that it is not being taxed, but this is included in my income to raise my tax slabs. Generally, உங்களுக்கு already தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். So 0 to 2.5 lakhs, there is no tax. So 2.5 to 5, it is 5%. 5 to 10, it is 20%. More than 10, it is 30%. கரெக்டா? ஸோ இப்போ நான் வந்து ஒரு 10 lakhs of agricultural income and ஒரு 3 lakhs of other than agricultural income வச்சிருக்கேன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. What should be my tax rate? 10 lakhs exempt, தூக்கி வெளியே போட்டுட்டு 3 lakhs. ஸோ 3 lakhsக்கு 2.5 lakhs exempt. ஸோ அந்த ரிமைனிங் 50,000 மட்டும் 5% போடும். ஈவன் தோ ரிபேட்டை விட்டுருங்க ஃபார் த டைம் வி ஜஸ்ட் லீவ் அவுட் த ரிபேட். ஸோ அந்த 50,000 மட்டும் 5% போடணும். கரெக்டா? பட் வாட் தே ஆர் சஜஸ்டிங் இஸ், பாஸ் திஸ் இஸ் exempt, but not for the purpose for you to compute the tax slab அப்படின்னு சொல்றாங்க. So what they say is, first include the agricultural income also in the income of the assessee. First include the income of agricultural income also in the income of the assessee and compute the total tax. Exempted income plus that is agricultural income plus other than agricultural income. Add both and compute the tax rate first. Second, what you should do is compute the tax rate specifically for agricultural income and basic exemption limit. So இது ரெண்டுத்தையும் ஆட் பண்ணி ஒரு டாக்ஸை கண்டுபிடி. So what is your tax அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. So after finding that, from step 1 you reduce step 1 from step 2. So what they say is, see, I've included your income, but நான் இங்க second stepல என்ன பண்ணிடுறேன், நான் exclude பண்ணிடுறேன். So they say that I'm not taxing your agricultural income, but in reality what is happening is this is increasing the tax rate of the assessors if he is going to have both agricultural income and other than agricultural income. So இப்போ இந்த computing of agricultural income plus maximum exempted limit இந்த ரெண்டுத்தையும் ஆட் பண்ணி ஒரு டாக்ஸ் ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக தனியாக கண்டுபிடி. ஸோ ஸ்டெப் 1லேருந்து ஸ்டெப் 2 கண்டுபிடிச்சேன்னா that is going to be your tax before cess. இவ்வளவுதான். So that is what is being tested. So this is known as partial integration method. Okay, so we'll just take some questions and solve it. It is very, very simple, nothing to panic. Okay, so first வந்து in this case the non-agricultural income is 3,25,000 and your agricultural income is 2,55,000. Okay, wow. So there are two incomes, both agricultural income and other than agricultural income. So agricultural income is 2,55,000. 2,55,000 and my non-agricultural income is 3,25,000. So there are two things, agricultural income and non-agricultural income. So first step na enna pananum, I should take both agricultural income and non-agricultural income, add both and compute the tax. So 5,80,000 I have to compute tax. So 5,80,000 ku enoda tax enna varum, so 2.5 to 5 lakhs ku my tax rate is 5%. So 2,50,000 ku 2,50,000 ku my tax rate is 5%, which is going to come to 12,500. Okay, wow. Next 80,000 ku, so to 0 to 2.5 exempt, 2.5 to 5 already பண்ணிட்டோம். So 5 to 5.8 க்கு மட்டும் 80,000 க்கு we have to compute the tax. 80,000 க்கு 20%. So what will it be? It is going to be, sorry, I guess there is some computation error. Yeah, this is correct. So total tax is 12,500 plus 16,000, which is going to give me 28,500. Correct? The 28,500 is my taxes. Next step, what is my step 2? Take out agricultural income. So take out other than agricultural income, just take my agricultural income and basic exemption limit. So what is my agricultural income? 2,55,000. What is my basic exemption limit? 2,50,000. So what is the total amount? 2,55,000 plus 2,50,000. This is going to give me 5,05,000. So already 2,50,000 we have seen that the tax is 12,500. So 5,000 ku 20%. 5,000 ku 20% is nothing but 1,000 rupees. Okay, wow. So 12,500 plus 1,000, it is going to give me 13,500. In the 13,500 inga potukko. So what is my total tax liability? It is 15,000. Okay, இதுக்கப்புறம் இந்த ரிபேட் அப்படின்றது we have still till this class we have not discussed. So tax rates நீங்க பாத்தீங்கன்னா, so if your income is below 5 lakhs, right, if your income is below 5 lakhs, you get a maximum rebate of 12,500. Tax payable or 12,500, whichever is lower, can be claimed as rebate. So here is my income less than 5 lakhs. என்னோட non-agricultural income எவ்வளோ? 3,25,000 தான். So 3,25,000, it is less than 5 lakhs. Since it is less than 5 lakhs, I can claim the rebate. So what is the rebate value? Either the tax payable or 12,500, whichever is lower. So whichever is lower, 12,500, and the 12,500 I'm claiming it as a reduction. So my tax payable is 2,500 and my total tax payable is 2,600. Provided in the partial integration illa அப்படினா என்ன இருக்கும்னா, he would not have paid a penny of tax. He would have not paid any tax for that matter, because since his income is less than 5 lakhs, he would have got a entire rebate for this 3,25,000. So whatever tax is payable for this 1,25,000 at 5%, that could have been claimed as rebate under 87A. But because of this partial exemption integration method, he is paying a tax of 2,600. Okay, so this is the discussion. We'll go to the next question. Next is Mr. Parikshit, age 25 years, is engaged in growing and manufacturing of tea in India. His profits for the previous year 22-23 amounts to 10 lakhs, which includes profit of 2 lakhs from sale of green leaves plucked in his own garden. He has no other income during the year. Compute the total income and total tax payable by Parikshit. Right? So in the 2 lakhs pathana, it is from sale of green leaves plucked in his own garden. Even though it is his own garden, that is to be treated as entirely as agricultural income. Correct? So what is his total sales? Total sales is 10 lakhs. What business is he into? Growing and manufacturing of tea in India. So what is his total income? 10 lakhs. Correct? 10 lakhs. What is his agricultural income fully? 2 lakhs. What is his business income? 8 lakhs. Composite business income, since it is from growing and manufacturing of tea. So அதில் agricultural income part எவ்வளோ 60-40 60% it is to be treated as agricultural income and 40% it is to be treated as other than agricultural income. Correct? So in the 40% of 8 lakhs வந்து 3,20,000. So that is my income. Okay. இப்போ I should have, since I have to compute the tax payable, I should go for partial integration method. Since I am going to have both agricultural income and non-agricultural income, I have to go for partial exemption method. So partial exemption method, first what should I do? I should take the entire income, both agricultural and non-agricultural. So what is my total non-agricultural income is 3,20,000. What is my agricultural income? 4,80,000 and this 2 lakhs. Correct? So I should add all those three. So what is my total income? 2 lakhs plus 4,80,000 plus 3,20,000. It is going to give me, or it is 3,20,000. This is going to give me 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs general tax in pathana 112,500 varum. And the 112,500 eppadi varumna, so first 2.5 to 0 to 2.5 is exempt. Correct? So 2.5 to 5 lakhs is 2,50,000 ku 5%. We have already seen that this is 12,500. Next to 5 lakhs ku it is at 20%, which is going to be 1 lakh. So இது ரெண்டுத்தையும் add பண்ணா 112,500. அந்த 112,500 தான் இங்க இருக்கு. Okay. Next, second point என்ன? What is my step 2? I should take my agricultural income and basic exemption limit. So what is my agricultural income? 2 lakhs plus 4,80,000. Okay, 6,80,000. What is the basic exemption limit? 2,50,000. So for this 9,30,000, again I should compute the taxes, which is nothing but 98,500. So step 1 minus step 2 is going to give me my total taxes before cess. So I should add cess and I should pay the taxes. But ingi adhe point dhaan thirumba. Assuming just he has this 3,20,000 of income, he will not pay even a rupee of tax. He will not pay even a rupee of tax. But just because he is having agricultural income, he is paying this tax. But even though it seems to be taxing of agricultural income, but even the courts have accepted this and they say that partial integration method does not tax the agricultural income. Okay. So this is the overall picture. So one point which we should just need remember for partial exemption method is partial exemption method could be used if two conditions are satisfied. Condition number 1 is my agricultural income should be more than 5,000 rupees. Second, non-agri income, agricultural income should be more than basic exemption limit. Only if both of these conditions are satisfied, I can go for the partial integration method. If both of these conditions are not satisfied, I cannot go for the partial integration method. Okay. So this is the total chapter of agricultural income itself. It is a very, very small chapter, but having a good weightage in examinations. So with this, we'll just wind up the discussion and we will discuss some other topic in the next class. Okay. Bye-bye. Have a great day.